Hi, are you troubled with low self-esteem? Are you the type of person to constantly compare yourself to models on Instagram? Were you mocked because of a feature in high school or college or university? Well, I was one of those persons, and this is my story. So my story started in high school. I remember I used to get teased for my forehead and for my breasts, and I was just really uncomfortable most of the times. And I don't even want to point out the high school that I went to. I used to get really good grades. I used to be on top of my books. I mean, I buried myself in books because I was afraid of the opinions of others. So I remember I used to get called out from a forehead butt book, high forehead girl, big forehead, and for my boobs or breast, I used to get called breasty or stiff breast, and I was just really uncomfortable. I remember one time I was buying lunch, and this guy, he came behind me and he said he whispered in my ear, big breasts, stiff breasts, and I just felt uncomfortable and like I was being abused in some way. I don't know how to explain it, but I was just really uncomfortable. And so whenever I went back to school shopping with my mother, I used to try as much as possible not to get the bras with the cuffs, those thick cufflinks or whatever they are called. I used to tell her that I want the soft one, so my breast wouldn't be any bigger than it needed to be. And I must say that part of high school, not the sixth form, that part of high school was kind of hard for me, and it had its advantages and it had its disadvantages. Advantage, I buried myself in my books, I got good grades, and I was good with the teachers, I had manners and all of that. I was loved by the teachers, but some of the students, oh my god, they caused my pain. I was uncomfortable. I mean, I used to have friends, but they weren't friends who I'd go to and sit down and talk about things that were bothering me. So I didn't really have nobody to talk to. And so what I used to do was write in a lot of journals, and I think that is kind of where, other from besides grade 4, where I found that writing was my passion, that high school where I buried myself in writing in journals was where I built on that passion. And I must say that is also an advantage because today I still love writing. I still write a lot. And so I'm kind of grateful for the teasing in some way, but the disadvantage was that I felt uncomfortable almost every day when I had to take the bus to go to school, when I had to take taxi or bus to come home, when I had group presentations to do. I was very uncomfortable. Now let's fast forward to sixth form. That is when I decided that, you know what, I'm done. I'm through. I don't care what people have to say anymore. And it was a matter of just saying that and doing it. It took me a while, but the first day I can remember when I officially started sixth form in my uniform and everything, I remember saying to myself, I'm not going to wear any bang today. I'm going to expose my forehead. I'm just going to be myself at this school. I'm going to be Christian. I'm going to be me. So that's where I started building my self-confidence. And I must say the students I don't want to call the school's name, but the students there were really nice to me. I met a few good friends who I still keep contact with, and as a matter of fact, I consider some of them my brothers and sisters because they're such nice persons. I never felt uncomfortable when I was around them, and I was so confident. I mean, I was still shy, Christiana, but I didn't feel like I needed to hide myself behind a bang or bras that weren't really supporting my breasts and hiding my true self and all of that. So I started that school saying that, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start here, I'm going to be me. And I'm going to put some pictures on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about and the difference. But let's go to university. No, that is where, oh my god, let this noise pass. I live near the road, guys. But when I started university, it was just this new space for me. And before I go into that, I must say that I got my degree. I was awarding my degree, honors at that. The hard work paid off, but let's not divert from what I'm talking about. That is for another video. So when I started university, it was a whole new environment and new people, and I was just nervous. I was scared that I'd go back into the shell that I placed myself in when I was attending the first high school that I talked about. But when I started university, I remember my first day. I was looking for my friends from my sixth form school, and I was looking around and I couldn't find anybody. I remember two of them were supposed to meet me at the tent where we had the orientation, and I couldn't find them, and I was just scared that I was going to go back into that shell. Like I was depending on them to keep me out of that shell because I found my comfort in these people when I started this school. So I was just looking around for them and I couldn't find them, and I'm this kind of person who's kind of awkward with people. And I remember I spoke to like two girls who were sitting beside me, and we had a nice conversation. And when I was having that conversation, I realized that I could do this by myself. I could do this on my own. So what I want to point out to you guys, if you're troubled with low self-confidence, lack of self-confidence, or low self-esteem, remember that it all boils down to you. You are in control. It is not the people who are around you. You are in control. So I remember I was talking to these girls and I got comfortable after a while, and my friends from my second high school, they came and I started, feeling comfortable. I'm starting university. I'm excited. My friends are here. But oh my god, these friends they weren't studying what I was studying. I was doing journalism. Some of them were doing business and tourism and all of those things. So I was pretty much on my own. I didn't know anybody else doing journalism. I was on my own. And I started fretting. I was scared. I mean, whenever we're about to start a new journey in our life, like start on another path, it is expected that we're going to be scared. But it is up to you to be quote unquote unscared. I don't know if there's such word, but I was scared, and I was just saying, okay, I need to make new friends. Who are the people who are going to be my friends? And I looked around and everybody already have a friend. And I was alone again. So how I met my best friend at UE. I remember, let's fast forward a bit because this is a long story and I don't want to draw out the video. I remember we were in a class observant, guys. Very observant. Like, I'm not going to talk to you until I see why I need to talk to you. So before I continue, remember, I live next to the road, so you guys are going to be hearing like cars or taxis, horns and all of that. Sometimes a little chatter. I live next to a bar. So I remember I was in this class, I think it was critical reading and writing, and I saw this girl. I saw this girl and she was answering a question that the lecturer asked. And she was so bold and she answered it correctly. She sounded so intelligent. Shout out Chan. But she was so bold and I admired that and that was something that I wanted for myself. I wanted to be bold. But I was not bold. I was still I still had side effects from lack of self-confidence and low self-esteem. It takes time to get over it, and it was just a part of the process of getting over it. So I remember in my journalism classes, questions used to be asked, and over time I answered a few of the questions, but one thing that troubled me was the fact that I held myself back. So a lot of the times I had the answers to questions, and another student would hold up their hand, and as soon as I'm about to do this, I do this. Like, I pulled back. I was saying to myself, she's better. She went to a traditional high school. I'm from country. I don't know much, so just make sure take the question. So I was always holding myself back, and I remember I went to this class and we were doing a group presentation, and each of us had our individual parts to do. And after the presentation, and guys, this really changed my life, like literally. I remember after the presentation, the lecturers normally give us feedback. So she said to me, "You are timid. You seem timid." And I was just like, okay, I'm going to take what she said. Like, at first, I felt like, you feel shame, and you're doing journalism, you're supposed to be brave and out there and all of that. But she said that I was timid. So I left class feeling a bit down, and my day got dull, and I just didn't want to talk to anybody after that. But when I got home, I started thinking about it, and I said, I don't want to be timid. I want to be brave. I want to be confident. Like, I used to admire that about a lot of the students in my class. They were so bold. They shone. They were stars. They were sunlights. They were everything, and I really admire that about a lot of them. And so I took that criticism. Should I call it that? Okay, I'm going to call it that. I took that criticism and I used it. I mean, I'm still growing over time. I'll get better and better. But I took it and I've been using it to make myself better. I'm more, if you compare this Chrisan to the Chrisan who started UWI, who was at my first high school, who was at my second high school, then you would see a complete difference. I remember, I think it was last year, a lot of people were telling me, Chrisan, you changed, you've grown, you've become better, and I must say I smiled a lot when I was getting those, should I call them compliments or whatever, but I smiled a lot. But it did not end there, guys. When I started working my internship, I got another criticism. And they always say you either use a criticism to build yourself or to take a step back. And I use that criticism also to build myself. So my present boss, he said to me, because I was hired after my internship, he said to me that I need to talk more. So a lot of the times he was forcing things out of me. He was like, he had to ask questions for me to like answer them. I wasn't like at the meetings, I used to just sit down, and if I had anything to say, I'd write it down and I wouldn't say it. But he said that I needed to talk more. So those criticisms, they built me. And I must say, when you get criticisms, it all depends on you, what you do with it. Do you use it to build yourself, or do you sit in shame and cry tears? It all depends on you. And these criticisms will help you to build your self-confidence, build your self-esteem. Now, I don't know how long this video is so far, but there is another part. There's a whole other subtopic when it comes on to self-esteem and self-confidence, and that is appearance. Like I said in the first part of my video, I used to be troubled with like the way I look. I used to compare myself to a lot of people, and so I realized that sometimes when I don't look too proper, I don't want to do something. Like last week, I did this video. I was doing this video and I was wearing a hat and my face was sweaty. Like, I'm not going to come on a camera with sweaty face, so that's out. But I was wearing a hat and I deleted the video because I felt that I wasn't pretty enough. And see what self-esteem can do? It can hold you back, because this video could have been up from last week and you guys could have watched it and take something from it, and I'd be sitting here doing something completely different. But don't let how you look or how you feel you look hold you back. So that's basically my story, where I'm coming from. I tried to sum it up in as little amount of minutes as possible, because it's really a long one, and if I'm supposed to sit with you guys and talk about every bits and pieces, it's going to take the entire day or half a day. So I'm going to end it here, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.